The moment you all have been waiting for. We're heading out to Nantucket. It's a bit chilly up in Nantucket right now. That's why I got my long sleeves on, but I still have my Hawaiian. We're still gonna do an Action Island same game parlay for the New Orleans Saints and the Kansas City Chiefs. And who better to then concoct the same game parlay than my group of three? We've got Nick Giffen, Gilles Gallant, and Sean Koerner joining me now. And if it's your first time on Action Island, here's how everything's gonna work. All three of my panelists here are gonna give two props. We're gonna vote one in, vote one off. There's three of us voting, so it's a democracy. It's a best out of three, kind of like the wild card playoff baseball spot. So guys, Nick Giffen, you're gonna start first. First off, how was the flight? And tell me where you're doing for these two props here.
Yeah, easy flight, no turbulence whatsoever. But my two picks here, we're gonna go first pick Saints plus 5.5. How could I go against the luck rankings? 11-1-1 the last week, and this weekend as well, one game. And everything I've talked about, the luck rankings have an amazing record, especially when we're seeing 28 plus luck gap. Luck difference, 65% against the spread, and 14-4 for away teams if they have a 28 or more luck difference, 78%. My second pick, I'm going to go under 43, under 42.5, depending on the book you have. Definitely try to get the best number, but for this SGP, I think the book we're using is 42.5. This is just a spot where the Saints right now, they rank number 1 in defensive DVOA. Rashee Rice is out. I think that could lead to more 2 or even possibly 3 tight end sets for the Kansas City Chiefs, a little more run-heavy script. And then on the Saints side of the ball, their interior offensive line is banged up. That could lead to a lot of Chris Jones pressure on Derek Carr, forcing some mistakes or more run-heavy there as well. Shorter passes to Kamara, which again, I like his under there, but longer passes to Shaheed or that have a lower percentage chance of being completed. So I just think it's a game that stays under.
Yeah, it does feel like kind of a gross game. You think the Saints and how good they've been offensively, and then it's, of course, Patrick Mahomes. It's got to be an over, but it really, you take into account all the injuries, it kind of feels a bit gross. And Billy Ward also, just a couple minutes before we have to the island, he was giving out the under. Totally agree. Think it's a kind of a higher run-heavy game that's in store. And then, of course, how could you fade the luck ranking? So, Gilles, Sean, we've got to voting. The Saints plus 5.5 or the under. Let's get to voting. All right, the Saints spread or the under. Let's show them in 3, 2, 1. Saints. A clean sweep. I spent way too long on this drawing here of the Saints. I love the luck rankings play. How could you really fade it? 11-1-1 over the last 13. The luck rankings are on fire. So I'm trusting Nick Giffen. Sean, you guys are the creators of luck rankings. I'm going to trust it because that's what I'm going to do here. So Gilles Gallant, we've got our first leg down. It's the Saints against the spread. Where are we headed for the touchdown market?
All right, so 2 touchdown bets. We already talked about this earlier with 4 down territory. So Juju Smith-Schuster is who I like for the first option. I won't go too deep into it, but I'll refresh anybody who's just getting into the show now. He did catch a touchdown in week 3. Is playing 55% of snaps before the Rashee Rice injury. I think that should increase now with Rice out. And facing a Saints defense that plays man coverage at a top 5 rate, and Juju is the only other Chief to catch a touchdown versus man defense this season other than Rashee Rice. So that is the first option. The other option is Juwan Johnson. So his touchdown odds around plus 550. He's another long shot. He scored a touchdown in week 1, but still running a route on 80% of dropbacks. And this Chiefs secondary, I think they're solid, but they can be thrown on. They're 19th in defensive DVOA versus the pass compared to top 2 versus the run. And I think when Derek Carr gets into the red zone and the Saints offense gets there, Johnson is just a big target for Derek Carr. So I think Juwan Johnson at plus 550 or Juju Smith-Schuster at plus 500 are the 2 best touchdown options for this game.
Yeah, we just talked about it on 4 down territory. Feels like if you're going to back some touchdown scores in this one, you want to go with the long shots. Makes sense. Juju Smith-Schuster, possibly filling in, definitely has the experience with Mahomes under his belt. And then Juwan Johnson without Taysom Hill, someone's going to have to do the dirty work inside, the 5 or 10. And if we think the Saints are going to put up some points and keep this thing close, then they've got to score somehow. So Nick, Sean, we've got to get to voting Juju Smith-Schuster or Juwan Johnson anytime touchdown. Let's get to it. All right, a couple of north of 5 to 1 anytime touchdown scores. Let's show them in 3, 2, 1. I got the TikTok logo with Juju Smith. We got Juwan, and we've got Juwan. Oh, you troll, Nick Giffen.
The suspense.
You troll. All right, Nick, I'm going to kick it right to you then. Why did you go Juwan over Ju?
Saints plus 5.5. They cover, and I want the guy scoring the touchdown there on that covering team.
Totally makes sense. Listen, I was just hoping to see a renegade in the end zone with Juju Smith-Schuster, maybe a little TikTok dance, make the trolls very unhappy. So I think both of them are good looks out of Gilles in this one. So excited for finding out who eventually scores. We've seen some crazy touchdown scores this past weekend in the NFL. All right, Sean Koerner, you're up. We've got 2 legs. We've got the Saints and Juwan Johnson anytime touchdown. Where are you headed for the 3rd leg?
Right. Well, I got a couple Saints props for us. One's gross and one's fun. The first one's the gross one. I gave out earlier on green.daily. I apologize. The line has moved down. But Foster Moreau under 10.5 receiving yards. I think that's where it is by now. But like I said, he's only cleared this in 1 of 4 games so far. The first being week 1 when Juwan Johnson was still easing his way back from his foot injury. But it's really shifted the past few weeks. Juwan Johnson is clearly the lead pass-catching tight end in this offense, whereas Moreau is an excellent blocker, so they've been using him to block at a much higher rate recently, especially considering they have so many injuries along the offensive line. So I think that trend continues tonight. Again, he's probably going to only run a route on 7 or 8 Derek Carr's dropbacks, and even then, he's probably unlikely to draw a target, especially downfield. So I think he stays under this, even though it has dropped a bit. And I've already had, a couple of mudslides at the gazebo over here in Nantucket, so I'm ready to get crazy with a rare alt over. I'm going with my boy Rashid Shaheed to catch at least a 30-plus yard pass at plus 165. He's always a great bet on these, longest reception type of markets. I've found it really doesn't matter what number you get. If he clears the longest reception prop, it's usually way, way over anyway. So I figured there's probably more value here to just go with the 30 plus at plus 165. It's a tougher matchup, but Rashid Shaheed is matchup proof. He's running out route like close to 100% of Derek Carr's dropbacks. They're peppering with targets. He has a 20% plus target rate in all 4 games. So it just increases the chances that he does get at least one long catch here.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, I was on 4 Down territory with Gilles just a bit ago, and we were talking about Rashid Shaheed, and I said to back his alt yardage because I think that this is a great matchup for him. The Chiefs in general, top 10 in DVOA against the wide receiver 1, but that number turns to slip down toward the 20 when it's wide receiver 2. So really feels like Shaheed is in store for a potential big game or at least one big catch in general. And then, of course, the Foster Moreau, the yards on the move, but makes total sense with all the injuries. The Saints could even be down a 3rd lineman because the other one is their guard right now is questionable. So definitely feels like a lot of 2 tight end sets are in store on the New Orleans side of things, and Moreau will be blocking. So we have to choose, Gilles, Nick, between Rashid Shaheed. Do we go with a little fun alt over, or do we ride with Foster Moreau under yards? Let's get to it. All right. Foster Moreau under or Shaheed over? Let's see it. 3, 2, 1. Shaheed.
All right, we're having some fun then.
Yeah, come on. We got a little plus money prop to juice it up. You knew where I was going. I was going to go with the over, even though I still bet the Foster Moreau under. All 3 of us in agreement with Rashid Shaheed. I'll kick it to Gilles. Why do you like Shaheed over Foster Moreau here?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm on Juwan Johnson touchdown. So, I mean, I think that Foster Moreau is not really going to be much in the passing game. He's right now at 50% route participation. So, again, I think Foster Moreau, he's going to be doing a lot of cardio and blocking, and that's about it.
Yeah, a lot of blocking in store. Hopefully not too many passing yard routes, just in general for both Juwan Johnson's touchdown and Sean Koerner's under on Foster Moreau, which he gave out at the top of the show. A quick reminder of the same game parlay that we just made. There are 3 legs. The Saints plus 5.5 out of Nick Giffen. A little luck rankings play to start us all off. Gilles Gallant with a nice plus 550 anytime touchdown on Juwan Johnson. No Taysom Hill, so someone's got to get in the end zone. And then Sean Koerner, one too many Mai Tais later, we got a plus money alt reception over, or longest reception of 30 plus from Rashid Shaheed. All that 3 together, and you get plus 2,359 over at FanDuel, nearly 24-1. Nick Giffen, how do you feel about this SGP?
Well, we hit almost a Saints one last year. I hit an alt version of our Saints SGP. So, definitely pay attention to all 6 of these plays because they're all good ones. And I'm feeling good, right? We got the Saints in the luck rankings. The luck rankings been on fire. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I definitely feel great with this one, and that's the beauty of the of Action Island, the SGP. You can pick and choose. You don't like Juwan, you like Juju, you can go with that. You don't like the Saints, you want to not have some fun with Rashid Shaheed, you go with the Foster Moreau under, or you just throw that in too, whatever you want. But that's the SGP, nearly 24-1 over at FanDuel. Nick Giffen, Gilles Gallant, Sean Koerner, appreciate you guys hopping on. Good luck, and we'll talk again soon. And just one more time, if you want to know about this same game parlay we just concocted, Nick Giffen, the Saints plus 5.5 was his choice, or I guess our choices over the under in this one. Gilles Gallant threw out Juwan Johnson and Juju Smith anytime, and Juwan Johnson was our winner. And then Sean Koerner giving out Rashid Shaheed 30 plus reception. So that together is near 24-1 at FanDuel.